Coach, it's very nice to be sitting here with you. I have so many questions, but where I really want to start is, I see a lot of, I think, relationship between your job as a coach and what many executive leaders go through in their day-to-day. And the first place I really want to start is when you are at game day, it's go time. You have a team that needs to perform. You have fans in the audience watching, right? That could be investors, right? That could be, consumers, right? How do you maintain focus and create clarity for you and your players in that high stress, high pressure environment?
Well, I think preparation is the first thing I think of. I don't think pressure is that uneasy feeling you get when you're ill prepared.
Yeah.
And I didn't say nervousness. You're going to be nervous because it matters. Nervousness is energy. And if you channel it properly, it can certainly help you. And of course, if you're going to go perform something and it matters to you how well you do, you're going to be nervous to do it. But the thing that needs to trump or maybe be your predominant thought is your preparation, and you can't fool yourself now either. I know what we've made as a leader. I know what I put you through, but even that's not enough, right? You've got to go above and beyond to be great. You've got to do things outside of this building to be great. You've got to live, eat, breathe, sleep this. And the only way we know whether you are or aren't is game day. Right. And so. If you've prepared, if you've done all the work, if you have put the time, effort, and energy into it, then it's just another day. It's just another time, and I don't want to make light or diminish. Like it's a big deal, but you and human nature kicks in. But if you constantly remind yourself of your preparation, of that I've done this before, that I am qualified to do this, the better you're going to be and the better you'll perform. But again, you can't fool yourself. You got to do it.
No, and what I'm hearing in that reminds me of a book that is called Drive, and it talks about the levels of motivation. And many people believe that purpose is the highest level of motivation, but it's actually the second highest. The first highest is choice. And so it sounds like you prepare your teams by making them make choices. And their choices dictate their preparation, right? Their choices are what drive them to actually show up ready for whatever is going to take place in that game. And so I'm really interested in, I've heard some of the choices that you get them to make, especially around hydration. I've heard you tell me if they're true or not, but the stories around the color of their urine. And that's a choice they have to make throughout the day of drinking water and making sure they're showing up hydrated. But can you just talk more about the choices that you encourage your team to make daily?
There is nothing, when you're part of a team, there's no culture neutral thoughts or actions, thoughts included. Your thoughts affect our culture. Certainly your actions affect our culture, but your thoughts drive your actions. Right? And so I don't know culturally, it has to be that way in terms of then the choices you make, because every choice is driven by thought. Right? And so your thought has to be about the team. And so I get that the level of maybe commitment is a bit different in business, but I would argue that those that have succeeded at the very highest of levels have made it their life's mission to do so. If you want to play golf 4 hours a day and you want to coach your kid's baseball team and you want to own a boat and go on it 3 days a week, this is probably not for you, right? This is going to take a lot of time. This is going to take a lot of investment, and internally, it's going to take your emotions, right? It needs to be successful. You have to pour yourself. You can be good at a lot of things, great at only one. And I'm a good husband, I'm a good father, but I'm a great coach. And that sounded arrogant, and don't use that. Okay, where was I?
You're talking about you can be great at one thing and good at a lot of things.
Yeah. And so I don't, this isn't a stick my toe in and try it, kind of thing. This is dive in the deep end and let's go, because you're going to need all of that to ensure that the people that you lead are making the choices, because it's either going to be positive or negative to your culture. Everything that they do, everything that they think about, I mean, it has an effect. And as a leader, you have to approach that in that way, that everything that these people even think about eventually affects our culture. And so we need to be doing everything we can to make sure that these people are bought in.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I love that. And I would love to learn more about if it's true that your thoughts dictate everything around the culture, around the performance, around the team's success. How do you choose people who make the right choices?
Oh, a lot of research, a lot of time. I think, coaches get a bad rap for hiring their friends, but I think relationships matter because you've seen this person work, and then a lot of us as managers, we don't have the luxury of hiring everybody that we manage, right? And so you're kind of stuck with some people that at the end of the day, they still have your name on them.
Yes.
And you've got to find a way to connect with them, because until you connect with them on a personal level, you're only going to get a certain level of production from them. But if you want that greater production, you're going to have to, you got to put in the work as a leader to then go untap that by diving into them on a personal level.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I'm always fascinated and also curious about how great coaches and leaders sort of build teams that do the unthinkable, do the impossible, and knowing that it's intentional, it's not an accident, it's not neutral, it's always sort of, charged in one way or another. What would you say is the biggest takeaway in all of your years of coaching that you've learned to not sort of forego or negotiate this one thing when it comes to choosing people?
Their commitment to the players. If you're a 9-to-5 guy, I don't care how much you know X's and O's, or how much you can teach them, how much you can bring to us schematically. If you don't know their girlfriend's name, you don't know their mom's name, you don't know how they're doing in math class, it doesn't matter how much football you know, because you're never going to get the most out of this football player. And the same would be true. Like, you could hire the smartest, brightest, best resume on the planet, but if they're not bought in, then what good are they?
Exactly.
What good are they?
Exactly. I've worked with many people who they're great at their task, right? But many times they get promoted into leadership but don't have a heart for people.
There you go. Yeah.
And when they get into those roles, it's disastrous for everybody. They're not happy, one. And two, the people that they're exactly. Yeah. It's not something that they wanted or aspired to be or do. They just saw a greater paycheck. Right. And many people want more pay. But oftentimes don't associate that with having to lead or having to put themselves out there in an uncomfortable way, an unfamiliar way.
And the responsibility of it too.
Exactly.
Is, there are guys that I've interviewed where I said, you got to know every player, their girlfriend's name, whether they're on or off right now. Or, you got to know what their favorite video game is. You got to, and there's some guys, what? Like, I've never done it that way before. Well, that's how we do it here. And you're either in or you're out on doing it that way.
No, I love that. That's very insightful. And I think as senior leaders come into positions or authority, or let's say top brass, if you will, knowing that they are responsible for selecting the middle management, and that they are not just picking people that are good at the task or experts in the field, but also have a heart for the people that they're going to be leading, is essential. And they could be doing themselves a disservice or even be counterproductive in their goals, achievement, et cetera, just by who they put in place at that next layer.
Right. I had, when you become a head coach, you've got 120 players, you've got 15 assistant coaches plus trainers, support staff, recruiting, equipment, you name it.
Yeah.
So you've got hundreds of people that you're in charge of, and it would be impossible for me to have the relationships with everybody, all hundreds of those people that I would like.
Yeah.
But that's why I've got to hire the middle manager, the guys that go, spread the gospel, if you will. That's where I spend my time, is managing those people, because they have the greatest impact.
Yeah.
They have a much greater impact on the production, the nuts and bolts, in the weeds.
Absolutely.
than I ever will. And so it's critical that you have that team of yours coached up before you even come close to touching the team below that.
Yeah. Last question, or actual scenario or situation, but would love to hear, I guess, the time you were the most disappointed, either in your team of coaches or in your team of players, or both, and how you overcame that, and what did that teach you in your leadership?
One that sticks out, when we first got to Texas, we were doing our off-season mat drills. It was hard, right? And a quarterback, a leader on the team, I'd been kind of riding him like, that's not good enough. You got better, blah, blah, blah. And I remember, he's a great kid, great young man, great human being. But what he said to me stuck with me. He said, "Coach, I'm doing my best." And I whistled them all up, and I brought the whole team together and showed him that example. I said, so I have failed you here because you think that that's your best. It's not. And so, but where we have failed is the trust that when I'm pushing you, you're resisting because you're saying that's the best I've got. I'm telling you there's more. So why aren't you giving it to me? And because you don't believe me, you don't trust me, right? And so I had made an error up until that point in terms of obviously the level of trust, because he wasn't being a smart ass. He wasn't like trying to be defiant.
Yes.
He was pleading with me, "Coach, I'm giving you my best," and but there was obviously a disconnect there, and that one sticks with me just because we had spent months trying to build this trust, and obviously we hadn't gotten there yet, but I wanted to nip that in the bud as soon as I could.
Yeah. No, it reminds me of the very first time I met you. You told me, or you told us, several of us, what you define as being a coach. I'm not sure if you remember those words, but I would love to close out with you repeating those words.
Yeah, I don't coach people. I defy human nature every day. That's my job, is to go to work every day and fight human nature. Because human nature, all of us, even me, high achievers, all of us, that we are born, we're created to gravitate towards comfort, towards average, towards easy, towards painless, right? And what do we try to, put our guys through so that they achieve the best? I gotta make them uncomfortable. I've got to put them in some pain. I've got to make it time consuming and hard and all of those things. And so, you fight human nature every day.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I just want to say personally that it's been great, not just meeting you, but being in the place where I inherited your words via Muhammad, have been able to live a new career essentially in the past, 6 years. And I'll tell you that last October I suffered a stroke, and it was not something that anybody planned for, and it was something that caught me off guard. But I can tell you that being in the hospital for 3 weeks, and the care team that was around me they were just so impressed with the team that was coming through. So I never, one, my room was full of flowers from just, the community that I had built, but also the team here at Softway. And so they were like, you're going to heal faster because of the people around you. They really believe that the people around you, the community that you have, is what gets you back on your feet. And so love can actually be healing.
Absolutely.
And so your words inspired our team to transform and change into a place where it really expedited my healing and getting back on my feet. So I want to thank you.
Awesome. Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.